Hello everyone, I welcome you all to our channel Let's Learn Automation, and today we are going to discuss one of the important topic of testing, that is why or when we need the automation testing. So basically whenever we start the testing of any application, we started from the manual, and there is one of the important interview question we can say that, or one doubt in our mind, that why and when we start the automation testing, what is the need and whenever we need to start. So let's discuss on this particular topic. So in a testing field, we can say that we have two important things. Like we can say that first is retesting, and the second one is regression testing. So these are the two important phenomena or terminology in testing. So basically, whenever we got the build, or we can say that the application at that time, we started the testing, and while testing, we test that particular bit with the multiple kind of data. Like we can say the positive scenario, negative scenario, and whatever the data comes to our mind, we try to test that thing by which there should be minimum or that the application will be of bug free. So in this particular retesting, or we test that application, we can say that again, again, and again. We can say that for multiple type of data. We like positive scenario, then negative scenario, then boundary values, everything. So we are going to test the same thing again, again, again with the various kind of data. So it require more resources, more effort, more time. So that's the one of the challenges in a software testing field. And also, for example, we are testing any particular application, like we can say that we term or we said it as a build one, and what we got one issue. After getting issue, we report that issue to the developer. Then developer work on that issue and he fix. After getting fix, we get the build 2. So in build 1 we already tested all the test cases, and we got the issue, we reported that thing, and then after fixing we got the another build. So we need to test that build again with the same test cases, with the same test data, even with different kind of data, to check is that build fixed or not. So in this case also we need to test the thing again and again. Okay, so this is the first analogy, and then let's talk about the second one. So in a second like a regression, for example, if we found a bug, okay, we found a bug, then we report to the dev. Dev fix it. Okay, dev fix it, and he again share the new build. We can say that build to build to, and now we need to test that build again. Okay, so that build 2 may contain the bug which is we reported. Like we can say that bug plus new features. So these are the two things that may be available in the build 2, we can say that. So in this case what we need to do, we need to check for the previous test case which are already tested, and also we need to test the dependent test cases, because that particular new feature may be depend on the previous feature, we can say that. So that is what the regression, in regression what in a shorter way we can say that we need to check the impact of new feature on the older one. So we need to test the previous test cases or the already past test cases again and again. So these are the two challenges in retesting and regression. So if we are going to see the example of this, so for example, we have 50 number of test cases. Okay, and we can say that that is what the build one, build one. And here when we test this thing, what we got, like 40 test cases pass and 10 test cases got failed. Okay, so this is the one standard scenario, we can say that we have written the 50 test cases on build 1, and from which 40 test cases pass and 10 test cases fail. So as these 10 test cases fail, so we report it. Okay, so we report it means we can say that we report a bug, like this particular test cases got failed, and we reported through the Jira ticket or any kind of tool, we can say that. Then after some time we got the build 2. So build 2 is the improved build, because all of the failed test cases tried to solve in this build 2. Okay, so we can say that this build 2 comes with the we can say like fixes and new functionality. Okay, so this may happen that in the next sprint we can say that we got a new build which contains the fixes of the previous build and the new functionality too. So what happened whenever we start the testing of this build too, first of all we need to test the 10 failed test cases. Okay, we need to test the 10 failed test cases. Why it is so? Because these test cases got failed when we test the first build, so the priority goes to them, which means which are the test cases got failed. Then also what we need to do that we already know that there is a new functionality, so we need to check the impact of this new functionality on the previous functionality. So for that what we need to do, we also need to test the 40 test cases again. Okay, why 40 test cases again? As this 40, we know that in a build 1 testing, these 40 test cases got passed. Okay, but as we have or Dev implemented the new functionality, so that new functionality may impact on the previous one. So that's why we need to test the past test cases again. So that is what we can say that it is said to be, this is called as a retesting, because we are just testing the failed test cases, and these 40 test cases we said as a REG, regression test case, or regression testing we can say that. So as sprint goes, or as the project is going to develop again and again, or the new feature are going to introduce in a particular build, so at that time we got the build 3, then 4, then 5, and like that. So this all things are going to happen again and again. Like some of the test cases got failed, some of the test cases got passed. Then we need to, first of all we need to check on the failed test cases, because that have the highest priority. And then we need to test the past test cases too, because that test cases may have impact, or the new functionality may impact the previous functionality. So we need to check the past test cases too. So that is what the we need to perform the retesting and regression for the every build. So in this way what happen whenever build 3 come, 4 come, 5 come, so at that time tester may be frustrated, because he need to test that particular thing again and again. So to overcome this particular thing, we need to introduce the automation. Okay, so to overcome this particular thing we need to introduce the automation. So in automation what we will do, whichever the test cases got passed, like here we have the 40 test cases pass. Okay, so that should be automated. So in the automation process 40 test cases got passed, so that should be automated first. Okay, and rest of the 10 test cases will be tested manually. Okay, why it is so? Because it means that 40 test cases pass means that these are the stable test cases, or the these test cases we can automate because it is already passed. Okay, and 10 cases got failed, so that should be passed first, then only we can automate that test cases. So that's why first of all we will automate the 10 test cases which are passed, and the remaining test cases will be tested by manually. Okay, so in this way whenever if these test cases also got passed, then we will convert all these test cases into automation. I say that we will convert all these test cases in automation, or we will also automate them. So in this way we can automate the test cases, which will reduce the we can say that effort time. So what happen here, whenever new build arrive, so at that time we only test 10 test cases manually, and we will run the 40 test cases automation suite, which will run automatically. Then there is no intervention of human. Okay, there is no human intervention, and we only need to run the 10 test cases, or the test cases which got failed. So in this way the frustration, or we can say that we can help the tester, which by which there will be less resources required, less effort required, also less time is required. So every time what we can do, whatever the test cases got passed, we can automate them, and the test cases which got failed, we will test that manually. So in this way, we can easily understand that why and when we need the automation testing. So it reduces the effort, time and resources. So thank you.